have my old nemesis in here. She needs some tires bad. She brought it to me a couple weeks ago, and this had leaked all the air out. You know, this little guy. That's a deep valve stem. You can't get in there. But hopefully I don't have to mess with the valve stem. So So when she brought it over and said that tire was flat, I just checked them out and I said, hey, you know what? Winter's coming. You need new rubber on these. Well, the backs aren't that bad. The backs are in really good shape. Never mind that down there. That's from the Camaro. That's another thing. See, the backs are in really decent shape. So, ling long. Ling long. This was hanging because the one who owned it before went in a ditch, hit something, vaporized the water windshield washer squirter thing, and broke this. So you can see one stitch, zip tie, a little trick that I do, another one there. Brought it back up, made her happy. No sense in replacing this part. So I'm going to do the tires. And I've always done my own tires. I could never afford to buy them at a shop. I always bought used, and I would just change them myself to save the money. Go grab a couple from the tire dealer, maybe 15, 20 bucks for a tire, depending on how nice they were. So the good folks at TireRack.com, I mean, they hooked me up. They sent out these two tires, perfect matches for this guy. Just sent them out, delivered overnight, basically. And all I had to do was give them my credit card information and buy them. If you don't have a knife, this is a pretty decent way to do it. This is really tight, so it's hard to flip over. But you can usually flip that strap over, grab the back side where it's been glued, and just give her a pull. And that does it. So I don't know if it's a thing with these tire pressure sensors, but I can't get the core out. It's turning. That one was doing the same thing, turning, but wouldn't come out. So I just got my wrench, pulled the valve stem loose, and then you can push her down a little bit. And I'm changing this anyhow because it's stupid. So all the air is out. Stem and sensor are down in the rim. Now I'm going to knock this guy loose. If you do a YouTube search or any kind of search on how to break the bead on a tire, you see so many different ideas. And I've seen guys take, which looks like a good idea, you take a ratchet strap and go through here and then wrap it around a jack, and the jack's underneath and it breaks the bead from the bottom. I've seen guys set their car down on it and break it. But this is a pretty simple way to do it. There's a million different ways. I've seen a guy with a block of wood and something else, and he probably spent a day making this tool, which, okay, great. I've made a lot of tools to do what I need to do. But this is the way I do it. Take a little bottle of soapy water. Got the air out of the tire valve stems out. Put a little bit of water around the bead. With some soap in it, dish soap, Dawn, whatever. Palmolive, if you don't want your hands getting chapped up. Let that sit for a minute. Harbor Freight tire spoon. 85-year-old 10-pound sledgehammer. Just get your weight on there and kind of work it. Let that water and soap get down in on that bead. Then you find yourself a happy spot. Put that tire spoon down in there. And you want the spoon to go in at an angle so it's hitting that bead. You want to hit it like it owes you money. You're not playing around. time keeping your weight on it. Usually I go around in a circle about once or twice and it comes loose. Done. Once the front's broke, back's relatively simple. Again, just kind of work that bead down some. I've had it before where I've stepped on it and broke it loose on the back side. It's ready. Good. We're going to take the tire spoon this way, get down in here, punch that edge of that tire and give her a flip to get started. Small bites at first. I use the screwdriver because it's easier to get down in there. And it's where all that soap comes in handy. Always stand on that because it wants to, and it'll smack you right in the forehead. Been there and done that. There we go. Get it this far, you can usually give her a pull. She's up. That's all there is to the front. Stand it up on the edge. Now on the back, you want to put the spoon in this way, not this way. This way. Make sure you're not getting into a spoke on the back side. You got an open spot. And I do. I'm going to give her a little leverage. A lot of times, to get it to that point, I take the sledgehammer and just give her a couple whacks. The Eagle has landed. This is the tire pressure sensor. It wasn't here. Every light on the dash is on in this vehicle. So these are doing me no good. With every light on the dash on, it's hard to tell if your tires are good or not. So I'm just saying like $7 for 4 of them. Just take a little bit of silicone sealant. That's how I do it. Go right around there. Go right around that lip. Just to kind of lubricate it. Make it a little easier to pull through because this is my pull through tool. They sell something that you can use, but whatever. Get a hold of the cap. And man up. In. Done. So the yellow dot and the red dot, yellow, red. The yellow dot indicates the lightest point on the tire. Tires aren't perfect. The red dot indicates the flattest point or the lowest point on the tire. When I have a yellow dot and a red dot, red supersedes yellow and red goes to the valve stem. Outside, that's important. So this goes out, not in. Listen to that rubber. It's so sticky. So I'll do a little bit of soap on here just to get her to slide on better. Not much, just a little bit. I know that's upside down. Don't worry about it. I'm going to turn it around. Just a little soapy water. Always leave the cap open so you can kick that bottle and it'll fall over. Get her started. Get it really start rocking down. You want this down in that slot like I was talking about before. And I just double checked to make sure it's set outside. Gotta stand that sometimes, give her a little meat. Boom, on. I'm just getting a rag with a little bit of soap on the rag. Watch out for the peeling chrome. It's like razor blades. And now I want to turn it so my red dot is at the valve stem for weight purposes. So she doesn't vibrate going down the road. Get her started. This way, not this way. This way. Alright. Again, you want to get the tire down in that slot. Put some pressure on it. One more. And one more. Now to seat this bead, and again, make sure that you got your dot lined up. But to seat this bead, I'm going to take the core out of the stem, so I can get the maximum amount of air rushing in there real fast. Just keep that red mark lined up. Sometimes I give the rim a kick on the back just to get it started. This can sometimes be the hardest part. So when I'm putting air back in the tires and getting them to the right pressure, right here you can see it says, let me turn this on so you can see it, 51 psi max pressure. So it shows 51 psi. Not going to do that. Here's how you know what pressure to put in your tires. See that? 32 psi front, 32 psi rear, 32 psi spare. Don't overinflate your tires. You're asking for trouble. So we're shooting for 32 psi. Get it. There we go. Let's check. 20, almost 30. Give her a little bit more. Now that the tire's on, fill up the pressure. My final check is to take that soapy water, just pour it around the bead. It's going to let you know if you got a bead leak real quick. Just kind of lift the tire up to get the water to run around. And look for any bubbles. I thought I had some here, but I did not. Looks good to me. So this tire is ready to go back on. And I was going to put these on the backs and the backs on the fronts. But this is an all-wheel drive vehicle. Well, four-wheel drive. I think all-wheel. And I just checked the depth on the tread, and the back tires are just as good as the fronts. So a lot of people get a little weird about, oh, don't put new tires on unless you put all four on an all-wheel drive vehicle. That makes sense, because then your differentials are fighting against each other because the bigger tire is turning differently than the smaller tire. Well, I ain't too worried about it because I've done this a trillion times. On our old Durango that was all-wheel drive, never had a problem with it. I had straight up bald tires and brand new tires, 2 different size tires. That's a big thing. Don't put 2 different size tires on an all-wheel drive vehicle, or on a differential. But I've done it. It worked for thousands and thousands of miles and never had a problem. So there it is, done and done. Piece of cake as usual. It was 2 old bad tires off, 2 new good tires on. Balanced, blueprinted, loaded, ready to go. 32 PSI. This one here, piece of garbage. That thing was a bear. Yeah, that was rough. Because that was rough. But like I said, I could not get that bead to seat. Because the back one would be holding on a little bit. The front one was like you could put your fingers in there, and so you just push that rim and the tire stays and it pops on a little bit, just enough to get some air. No, wouldn't happen. 3 hours into it, 2 hours, whatever. It was at least 2 hours. Seemed like a year. But I took the spoon and I pushed this part of the tire back, got the spoon down in there, and pushed it all the way back to that back bead, and took my hammer and all the way around. Got that bead to seat almost all the way. This one was this far away from the rim, but at that point the back one's not popping off again. So then I could push the rim back into this tire, this side of the bead. You know what I mean? And then air, pop, no problem. So my next option would have been, spray some stuff and light a match. But I did not have to do that.